Hello and welcome to the North Carolina Museum of History and the 27th Annual American Indian Heritage Celebration Education Day. Our presenter, Patrick Suarez, will start in just a moment, but we want to begin with a few notes. Remember to ask questions in the chat, and we'll do our best to respond to them and share with Patrick later. We have many additional resources about American Indians in North Carolina on our website, nc-aihc.com. We thank the following sponsor of the North Carolina Museum of History Foundation, helping to make this event possible.
Chwet, Askinihe, Giate, Raket Snaj, Tuis, Gisisete, Gavachaka. Hello, my name is Patrick Suarez. I'm from the Meherrin Tribe of the Snipe clan. My given name was Raket Snaj, meaning he who carries the burden or the bundle. And today I am honored to come before you virtually for all you students to speak about some things about the Southeastern Woodland people, how we, what type of clothing we wore, how we lived, the roles of our women, the roles of our men in our society, also just how we were before the settlers came, the pre-contact and afterwards. But before anything, as you know, Thanksgiving is coming up next week, and it's a time to reflect on things, and everyone has a different opinion about Thanksgiving. In my culture, the Iroquois people, we normally do what they call the Thanksgiving address before any type of event or gathering. We say these things to the world. We give thanks to everything. So I will be reading the Thanksgiving address before we start. And just listen to the words and just giving thanks to all the things in life. Yagwade Huwadate, that means we are thankful for. The people, today we gather as we see the cycles of life continue. We have been given the day to live in balance and harmony, and others and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. Yagwade Huwadate, the Earth Mother. We're thankful to our mother, the Earth, for she gives us all we need in life. She supports our feet as we walk upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she began from the beginning of time. To our mother, we give greetings and thanks, and now our minds are one. Yagwade Huwadate, the waters. We give thanks to all the waters of the world for quenching our thirst and providing us with strength. Water is life. We know its many forms of powers and forms: waterfalls, the rain, the mist, the streams, the rivers, and oceans. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to the spirit of the water. Now our minds are one. The fish. Now we turn our minds to the fish life in the water. They were instructed to cleanse the water and purify the water, and they also give their lives up for us for food. We are grateful that we could still find pure water. So now we turn our minds and give thanks to the fish life. Now our minds are one. The plants. Now we turn to the vast fields of plant life. As far as the eye can see, the plant grows, working in many wonders. They sustain many life forms. With our minds gathered, we give thanks to the plant life for many generations to come. The animals. We gather our minds to sing greetings and thanks to the animal life in the world. They have many things to teach us as people. We are honored by them, which they give up their lives and bodies as food for our people. We see them near our homes and deep in the forest. We are glad they are still here among us, and we hope that they will always be. Now our minds are one. The trees. Now we turn our thoughts to the trees. The earth has many families of trees who have their instructions and uses. Some provide us with shelter, shade, others with fruit and beauty, and other useful things. Many of the world uses a tree as a symbol of peace and strength. With our mind, we greet and thank the tree life. Now our minds are one. the thunders. Now we turn to the west, where our grandfather, the thunder beings, live. With lightning and thunder voices, they bring to them the water that renews life. Now we bring our minds together and we send greetings and thanks to the grandfather, the thunder. The sun. Now we send greetings and thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day without fall or without fail, he travels from the east to west, bringing the light of a new day. He is the source of all fires of life. With one mind, we send greetings and thanks to our brother, the sun. Grandmother Moon. We put our minds together to give thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the night skies. She is the leader of women all over the world. She governs the movement of the ocean tides. By her changing faces, we measure the time, and it's the moon who watches over the arrival of children here on earth. With our minds as one, we send greetings and thanks to our grandmother, the moon. The Creator. Now we turn our thoughts to the Creator, the Great Spirit. We send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life here on Mother Earth, for all the love is still around us. We gather our minds and send our choices of words and greetings to the Creator. Now we come to the end. Now, if we have forgotten anything, it's not our intention. It is our ability in our way to give greetings to the things that we forgot. Now our minds are one. And that was the Thanksgiving address. Before anything, we give that address just to give thanks to everything in life. Today, we're going to be talking about the Southeastern Willing people. And these were the people east of the Mississippi. We're going to speak about what they wore before 1492, how they lived, and also the traditions and the roles that we played. And then we will speak about how, when we was contacted by the colonial or the English, the Europeans and the Spanish, and how it changed the way we live life in the clothes that we live or wore. As Native Americans, the women were our farmers. They tend to the crops, everything that we needed. They were our caregivers. As of today, they still do those things. Our men were our warriors. They went out hunting. They went out, on war parties to gather our food. So those were the roles. And still in today's society, our women are our leaders in our tribes. They actually pick the clan mothers. The clan mothers pick the new chiefs. They actually make the delegations with other nations. So they hold a big role in today's society. Before 1492, the Native Americans here in North Carolina and Virginia, they use all the things in the environment, the plants, the animals, for their clothing. Due to the vast majorities of forest land that we did have, we needed something that didn't slow us down when we went hunting or in the hot months. So most men before 1492 or around that period, they didn't wear shirts that we wear today. They went kind of bare-chested, right? They wore moccasins, which were made out of leather from a deer, moose, even a bear. And the leather would look like this. And they will make their moccasins or their shoes out of this piece of leather. And so basically what they do, they will put their foot right in the middle, draw it out, and take some sinew from a deer and a bone from a deer also, and use that sinew as a needle and sew in the center of your foot. And that's how they get those center toe moccasins, from that leather. They will also wear what they call leggings. Now these leggings were also made out of leather. And they will wrap it around the leg, usually from the knee to the ankle. And those leggings will be tied with a piece of leather to hold them in place. So the purpose of the leggings were to protect them while they went in the woods and the forest, when they went on hunt parties and things of that such. They also will have that same leather to use as a bridge cloth. The bridge cloth will be right here. It will come all the way around. And also that bridge cloth will be held up by what they call garter or sashes. These sashes will also be made out of leather at that point. So I have a sash one that's holding up my bridge cloth that's under this. As I stated before, they wouldn't have worn any type of shirt because of the weather that we did have. Also in the winter time, what they would have done, they would have used deer or bear hide to wrap themselves up in warmth. The women wore what they call a skirt. It's not like a skirt you know of today. Basically, it was a wrap skirt. So that leather will wrap them around. It was a big piece of leather that wrapped around the body that would be held up by leather also. They did also have leggings too, but their leggings were a little bit shorter because they didn't have to go out in the hunt parties. So everything that they had, it was made from animals, or they got it from trees like hemp and things and that such. They used those things. They will also stuff their moccasins with moss or cattails. If you're driving down the road, you may see some cattails. They will use that to kind of keep the warmth in those moccasins and protect their feet. So when the Europeans and even when the Spanish came, after between that, we call it the colonial period, from 1492 to about 1770, that's when we started trading. The Native Americans will trade with their furs for different items. The Europeans brought what they call cotton and wool, also satin and things and that such. So we didn't have those things, so we traded. The Europeans really loved the leather and the furs that we had because they had harsh winters. So we will be trading those things. So in that period, when we got contacted with the Europeans, things like beadwork came around, and the Native Americans would still use their traditional designs because they didn't want to have things that would slow them down when they went hunting or in the summertime to keep them hot. But they will still use their traditional leather and things of that such, but incorporate some of the things they traded, like the beads or the wool or the cotton. And that time they start making those what they call long shirts and things and that such with those materials. So that's the difference between the pre-contact period and when they was contacted by the Europeans and the Spanish on how their regalia, we call it regalia or outfit, we don't call it costumes. So the regalia. So the type of regalia I have on right now will be what we call a modern regalia. It's more of a V-work, long shirt and things. So this came around probably in the 1900s. You have seen when I wore the V-work and things and that such. These are some moccasins right here, and these are actually about 100-year-old moccasins right here. So around the 1900s, as you see, the leather is a little bit worn, but these are some of the things that you are seeing. Now, I have a question for you. As Native Americans, what did we live in? Can you raise your hand, ask your teacher? Just say in the 15, 16, 1700s, what type of housing did we live in? Here, the Eastern Woodland people. Can you raise your hand and tell your teacher, one or two students? I'll give you a minute. I hear a lot of people saying teepees. Now, Eastern Woodland people, we didn't live in teepees. That's more of a Western. People from out west, they lived in teepees. As you see right here, our people live in what we call a longhouse, Eastern Woodland, or wigwams. In a longhouse, your clan, which will be on your mother's side, your clan is actually your family, your aunts, your uncles, your cousins, people like that, will live in this longhouse right here. And it will house probably about between 18 and 25 people in this longhouse. So we didn't live in teepees. We lived in longhouses or wigwams. Teepees were more people out west, like the Navajo, the Creek, and things of that such. So, but I just want to let y'all know about that. Around this model right here is actually a model of what it had looked like with the Meherrin people around the 1700s. As you see, we have this palisade, and we have this wood on the outside, and that was to protect from animals and things of that such for coming into your longhouse. So we touched on the clothing. Can you remember, what did we make moccasins out of? Yep. So the moccasins were made out of leather. And that came from a what now? All right, deer. Yep, some use bear. Moose, I heard moose. Buffalo. They didn't really use the buffalo hide for the moccasins, but yep. So that's what they would use those moccasins out of. That leather, and also those what? What else did they have on there from their knee down to the ankle? Leggings, and the leggings were used to. You're exactly right, to protect them while they was in the woods, because we Eastern Woodland people, we had a lot of woods, right? We still have a lot of woods today. So when they went into the woods to go hunting, they didn't want to have anything that slowed them down, and they also wanted their legs to be protected from the elements. So we had to use those that leather to protect that legs, and also the leather was made for the bridgecloth. Bridgecloth was there basically to cover themselves and also to move quickly in the woods. So now, when the men went hunting, they had to have something to kill, right? So what did they use? Exactly right, a bow and an arrow. So this is what they would use, an arrow. This is a smaller version, as you see. Also, the bow. So while the men was out hunting, the women will be tending to the farm. And what did we grow? Do y'all know, have you ever heard of the three sisters? Okay, someone said it did. Can someone raise their hand and tell the teacher what the three sisters were? All right, I heard bean. Yep, the type of crops they grew. Squash. And what was the other? Corn, that's right. So if you look right here, we have bean, corn, and squash. And these are traditional seeds that were passed from generation to generation. So these are traditional 300-year-old seeds that you cannot buy at the store. These are Tuscarora corn right here. And as Native Americans, we use everything, even to the corn husk right here. You see the corn husk? We use that corn husk to make corn husk dolls for the babies. And this is just this shows right here the three sisters right here. So if y'all want to look at that, you can afterwards. As I stated, as Native Americans, we use everything. When we killed the deer, guess what we did? We gave thanks to that deer for giving up its life for us to have food, or the deer hide for us, we can make our clothing. So we offer that deer to traditional tobacco. So it's not the tobacco that you see today that your aunts or uncles or whoever use for smoking, for cigarettes. We use traditional tobacco to give offerings or prayers, just like the sage. So when we killed that deer, we used that deer's toes. That's right. We use that deer's toes to make a garter to go around your leggings, right? We had to have something to hold it up other than the leather. So we used those deer toes. We kind of sewed them together and made a little garter. Right now I have bells on, as you hear. That came afterwards, after we met the English and the Spanish and stuff and start trading. But we use everything on that deer. We also use that deer's horns. We can use that as weapons, right? As you see right here, this is a war club. See the war club? What does it look like? A fist, that's right. And what's right here from that war club? It's a flint. It's like an arrowhead. So they would use this war club in many things. If they went hunting, or if they had war with another tribe, they would use it as a weapon. So that's what they would have used it for. These are a little bigger projectiles right here. This is made out of stone. Sorry. And this is actually made out of bone. So these are some of the things that we use as weapons. Now, as I stated before, we use everything for everything that we killed, even to a turtle. This is a rattle right here. This is a turtle rattle. It's a real turtle. But we use this rattle in special ceremonies, and different songs that we sing. But we use, when we killed that turtle, we use it as turtle soup. Yes, we did it. We still eat it today as turtle soup. But we use everything from that turtle. So this is actually used for different ceremonies that we do, different songs. Different types of rattles we have. This is actually a strawberry rattle, which I'm going to talk to you about that later on. And you probably ask why I have all the strawberries on, so we'll get to that. One thing I didn't cover is, what do I have on my head? Do you see my head? What do I have on it? Right here. What types of feathers? First of all, what do you call it? All right, see some people saying it. It's a headdress. So your headdress right here, it actually let other tribes know what nation you was from. So it kind of determines, oh, that person's from this tribe, this person's from that tribe. The Mohawks will have 3 feathers up there, or Cayugas will have 1 down. The Tuscaroras wouldn't have any feathers like this. So your headdress was actually, it told who you were, what nation you was from. Now, pre-contact, before 1492, they didn't have the headdress like this, the gustoas. We call it gustoas. They just had little roaches on their hair, like porcupine or deer hair that came in the back, that they tied in the back of the hair. And they used that actually for different things to kind of blend in their environment, if they went hunting and things of that such. So, and also if they had war parties and things of that such. So, but my gustoa, my headdress, can you tell me what type of feathers you see? Okay, someone said eagle. Yep. Here are eagle feathers right here. Okay, well, not peacock. Okay, yep. Someone said duck feathers and turkey. Exactly. Now, the Eastern Woodland people, we didn't have a lot of eagle that was flying around. Now, we had a lot of turkeys. What do we have a lot of? Turkeys. You see them today, wild turkeys. So we use those turkey feathers as our headdress. But yep, I have duck feathers, turkey feathers, and also in the back of it, believe it or not, will be hawk feathers. It's different types of hawks. So as you see on this gustoa, it's more, these are turkey feathers too on this gustoa. So, and on this fan right here, these are turkey feathers also. Yep. Peasants, yep, you're right. Yep. So in today's society, and I give you, going back to the feathers, I'll give you an example. So this is an eagle feather. This is actually the first eagle feather that was gifted to me. As Native Americans, if you receive an eagle feather, that's like the highest honor you can get. And only Native Americans can have eagle feathers. So this is an eagle feather that was gifted to me when I graduated high school. So this is my first one. And also this is a hawk feather right here. So the picture, I think someone had a question about the picture. Around 1770, the Native Americans, when they started trading, this is what one of an Eastern Woodland Native male would look like. As I stated before, you have the moccasins right here, the center toe, center string moccasins that was made out of deer hide. The leggings right here At that time, they used cloth when it was trading. So, they still use the leather, but they did at that time they used cloth. Around the guard here are the garters right here that was holding up the leggings, the deer toes on it. That's the war club. I told you before Eastern Woodland people really didn't wear a lot of shirts because of the weather. It was really hot, and it still is. In the winter, they would use, at this point, they had cloth and wool right there to wrap around. Had turkey feathers, so you don't see a lot of eagle feathers back then. The Eastern Woodland people. So, yes, that's a good question. That's what they would have looked like in 1770, 1765. So, yep. So, when they did start trading again, getting back to that, we talked about sashes. They start using cotton. So here's a sash right here that will kind of hold their shirts at that time together with an apron. And they would actually weave this with their fingers. So this is yarn right here that was weaved. In modern times, this is my daughter's, this is a legging. As I stated, this right here. In today's society, they start using beadwork, a lot of beadwork and fancy beadwork. So this is actually one of my daughter's dresses, my older Ayana's dress. I have 4 girls, so it's good because they will get these, what we call hand-me-downs. So my oldest will have one, and then my second born, so I'm gonna reuse it. And if you come to the powwow tomorrow, you'll see a lot of young ladies who are not dancing wearing ribbon skirts. So some of the things that we wear in today's society. Now, I get this question a lot. Is this what we wear every day? No, we do not wear this every day. So I'll tell students and parents and whoever, if you go to church on Sunday, right, you dress up, right, nice clothes. This is what we wear when we go to powwows or ceremonies. So we don't wear this every day, our regalia. We wear it on special occasions or to powwows. So there's different styles of regalia. Like I said, if you come tomorrow, you will see the men. They may wear more traditional, like this style. They may wear fancy, like they're fancy dancer, grass dancers. They may have different outfits, regalia. The women tomorrow, jingle dresses. You will see that fancy shawl, traditional. They're more, with the leather buckskin and things like that. So no, we do not wear this every day. So we wear these on special occasions. Now, the things that I have on right here, right? So I have strawberries. So one of the things that we do in my tribe, the Meherrin Tribe, we do what they call a strawberry ceremony. And that ceremony is basically giving thanks to the first fruit of the season. So the strawberry is the first fruit of the season. And I have my special rattle here, as I told you before, with strawberries on. And that's what my regalia. Can y'all say the word regalia? Yep. So if you can't remember regalia, say outfit. Never call it a costume because that offends Native Americans. So just call it regalia. But yeah, that's what my regalia is made out of. Now, getting back to some of the things on the table here. We didn't have money before the colonials, right? What did we use for trading? Or to buy things? All right. I heard it. Someone said wampum. Now, whoever said wampum, you're good. You're reading up. Now, wampum was made out of what we call quaghog or clamshell, right? So this shell right here is actually about 50 years old, believe it or not. As you see right here, I don't know if you can see it right here. I'm going to see if we go that angle. You see the purple and the white. So back in the 1700s, we had special people who would use this shell to kind of carve it down to get that purple, and they will break that off, the piece of the shell, and they will make beads out of it. You see this beads right here? You have the purple beads and the white beads right here. In today's society, nowadays they have tools that do it faster, but it will take weeks and weeks and days to carve that bead out. And so that wampum, we use those beads right here to do what with? Well, back in the day, and today's society too, we make what they call wampum belts. Now this wampum belt was actually was made for my tribe to honor the connection that the Nottoway, the Meherrin, and Tuscaroans had at one point. So, but yes, this is a wampum belt. And wampum belts basically tell a story. It's a treaty too, because we didn't have papers back in the 1700s. So we basically recorded history through the wampum belts. And there's a lot of wampum belts that's actually at the museum in DC, the Museum of Native American History, and the Museum of History, Native American Museum. They have on display, and the belts were actually a treaty that they gave to the United States, that the United States and some of the Iroquois, the Five Nations, the Oneidas, Onondagas, Seneca, Cayugas, and the Mohawks, which we call the Five Nations, which later became the Six Nations when the Tuscaroran people, some of those people migrated up north, and they took along with some of the tribes went up north with the Tuscaroans, and also with the Cayugas to take in protection, because at that point in the 1700s, there was a lot of people coming into North Carolina, taking some of the lands. So we had to actually leave our lands, unfortunately, and go into protection with the Six Nations, the Five Nations at that time. So, but the wampum belts, actually, there were contracts and there were treaty belts to show that each nation had a different treaty with the United States. Believe it or not, the United States Constitution was based upon the Iroquois Five Nations way of living. So the presidents back in the 1700s actually met with the clan mothers and the chiefs of those Five Nations, the Mohawks, Onondagas, Senecas, Cayugas, and Oneidas, to sit down and say, hey, how did y'all run your government? Because as you know, we was at war, the Civil War, things and that such, even before the Civil War, but the 13 colonies were at war at one point. But anyway, the United States Constitution was based upon the Iroquois Five Nations way of living. So, but the wampum belts are made from a shell, as I stated before. So do we have any questions? We got some time.
Yes, we definitely have some questions. Thank you very much. So people want to know, how comfortable are those moccasins?
Okay. Well, these, they do not have any type of sole on it. So if you're walking a lot, it's going to hurt your feet, right? And especially if it's raining. So we usually don't, in today's society, we don't wear our moccasins out if it's raining. So we wear regular shoes. But tomorrow I will be wearing my own moccasins that I have on right now. I did something smart. I put a sole on it. I put some rubber. It's just like what the shoes you have on. That way it will last longer and it's a little bit more comfortable on your feet. So, but these right here, I only use when I'm actually at an event or at a special gathering indoors right here. These, as you can see, have been through a lot, but these are 100-year-old moccasins right here. If you can see the beadwork, it's actually coming off a little bit, but a little cloth they had. But these are made out, I think these are made out of moose, to be honest with you.
So we have another question about regalia. So it seems that contemporary regalia is made with contemporary materials.
Yeah,
So people wondering if you make your own, does everybody make their own, and where do the designs come from?
exactly. So Eastern Willing people, we used a lot of like flowers designs and things of that such, or water designs, because like my people will call the people of the water the Meherrin people, Gawachaka. So we will use in different societies, the Eastern Willing use any type of designs they see out in their environment, flowers, mountains, designs like a mountain, like a square. Even your clan. My clan is the Snipe clan. So right here, like on the beadwork, now I didn't do the beadwork on this one, but actually it's a snipe. And that's the original name of my nation, Gawachaka, which means Meherrin, people of the water. And also on this is Wampum too. So, and we use wampum today for earrings or any type of jewelry. So not just for treaty belts. But yeah, so myself, I didn't beat any of this. Unfortunately, I didn't have that skill. My cousin, David Webb, he actually beat it this right here. My other cousin, Belinda, which will be here tomorrow, beat it my medallion with the strawberries to match this regalia. So different people, some people, a lot of people do their own making of the regalia. What's going on right now in different communities, we're having culture classes. So I know here in the Triangle, they have a culture class. Gifford County's having one. Different tribes in North Carolina are having their own. So we're basically teaching these skills to pass along to our kids in the 7 generations to come. We actually did have a moccasin making class, and if you're in the area of Gifford County, we had a class a couple of weeks ago. Mr. Ray Silver and Brenda Silver, they actually taught that class how to make moccasins, and it takes a long time, as my kids were, and a lot of time sewing. Your finger's going to get hurt with those needles and that going through that leather. But yeah, so we're trying to teach our youth now to carry on the traditions that were taught to us. So we're having those culture classes now in different areas, even in Charlotte area, Raleigh area, Gifford County, even down home in different their own tribal communities. So they're having culture classes. But good question. But most of mine came from my cousins. So unfortunately, I didn't have that skill of beading or seamstress. So, but my daughters are trying to, and this was the first one that they had some help with of making their own ribbon skirts. So, but they will. One of my cousins is going to teach my girls to do raised beadwork, so it's a little different.
So some of the questions are, and correct us if we're wrong, are there certain types of regalia that correspond to certain dance styles?
Yes. As I mentioned before, if you come tomorrow to the powwow, which is going to be in person from 11 to 4 after the parade, you will see, like for instance, the men. They have fancy dancing, the grass dancers, the traditional northern traditional or southern traditional dancers. The women are, you have the jingle dress dancers, fancy dancers, women's cloth or buckskin. So, but yes, so their regalia actually tells which style of dancing they do. It also shows a story. A lot of their regalia is made for their own nation or things they put in or different designs. For instance, with this one right here, this is just a flower design. It talks about the blooming of the flower. This is the sky domes. Over here, it's more like more floral designs. Remember I told you about the water pattern, a little squirrely mark. So, but yes, that's a good question. But yeah, so this would be more or less like a smoke dancer or traditional Iroquois style of regalia. Also, what I have on too would be more of a traditional Iroquois, the modern day. But what you will see tomorrow, you will have some of the traditional dancers actually dress just like this tomorrow without the coat right here. So with the war club and with the leggings, some of them may not even have a shirt on tomorrow. So basically, those were our warrior dancers, traditional dancers.
And I just want to give a shout out that going on today that people can watch in a live stream is dancing, drumming, and music. And you can see some of the dance styles. You can go to our website, nc-aihc.com, to register for that. And that's continuing until 1:45 today if you can't make it here in person tomorrow.
Mhm.
So you talked about how you do not wear regalia all the time. That's special clothes for special time.
Yes.
And you also talked about how Meherrin and other American Indians in the past got food and prepared food. But we did have a question about food preparation, but also, is that still how you get your food today? Do you still hunt for food, or do you still
It's hunting
live like
season.
that?
Well, we don't live. We live in houses just like you. Okay, we have houses. We do have a longhouse that we're building on my tribal land. Was more of a modern day longhouse that we can use every day for ceremonies and things of that such. When I say a ceremony, it's a little different from a powwow. What you will see tomorrow. A ceremony is more or less your own family, your tribal community, and it's more of an intimate, just your family. The powwows is open to everyone. Powwows is a big old gathering that all tribes come and showcase their dancing, their regalia, and things of that such. But yes, we still do hunt for like deer, just like as your uncles, your father, grandfather does. But we do shop at Walmart, so we don't live like we lived in the 1700s. So I have a job. I'm an occupational therapist. I go to work every day. But on the weekends, I do go to powwows or different ceremonies and things of that such. We do still grow. Like I live in Kernersville, which is between Winston-Salem and Greensboro. Even though I live in the city, I still have a garden. So I teach my girls how to actually grow their own food. So, of course, we plant the three sisters. And what were the three sisters again? Corn, bean, and squash. That's right. So we still do that. So we plant those and different types of vegetables and also fruits too. So
we have lots more questions, but I'm afraid we're out of time. But I have shared with our participants the website for the Meherrin Tribe that gives a lot of the history and stories. And I want to thank you so much for being here today.
And one thing I do say
yes,
before we go,
please do.
Now during Halloween, I do this every year. I go to different schools. Please do not dress up as a Native American. Do not use our regalia as a costume because that really offends us. So if you see someone doing Halloween dressed up as a Native American, please say, hey, that's not right. And also we're actually campaigning now. So the stores, most of the stores do not sell those Native American costumes. So I do tell people that. It's regalia or outfit, not costumes, is what we wear. So.
That's a great note to end on, being respectful of the culture, which is what you're all about. You're sharing your culture, but we need to be respectful. Everybody needs to be respectful of everybody's cultures as well. Thank you so much again.